All right. All right. It's June 5th. We're out here at Finefield Aviation with my airplane, and this is the boss here, the wife. And today, June 5th, is rather auspicious. It is our 54th wedding anniversary. And it's also, coincidentally, the 52nd year, well, our son was born.
Yeah.
2 years into our...
He's 52 years old.
He's the 777 captain for United, like I used to be until I got too old and they kicked me out. But here is the airplane. We're in day 2, and they made actually a lot of interesting process. You see it's still apart here, obviously, and it's up on jacks now, so they can lubricate it and everything. And they got the cam guard. I use the cam guard. That's good. This is the... front part of the nose here, and that's where my oxygen bottle is. It's up to its time limit to be pressure checked here. And number 3 cylinder, I mentioned that they had a little trouble with the compression on that, and they said what they do is they bore scoped them both, and what they do is when they're doing the compression test, they tap the valve, which pushes it out and reseats it, and sometimes that makes it better. On the other one, one or the other, I forget which engine is which, they have it's signed that it's burnt, so they said they'd probably lap it in place on the cylinder, and if worst comes to worst, they have to pull the cylinder, but he thinks they could just lap it because it isn't terribly burnt. And you notice how tight it is in here. And here we are coming back, guys working on the airplane, all apart pieces here, fire bottles. And it's interesting, this is the turbine, and right there is the where the aux fuel tanks go. Now this is kind of interesting. I had at the same time both tanks leak. And this little thing here is the housing that they take off where the aux tank is, which is the back here. You can see the hole. See that? That covers that. But it's kind of interesting. It's in this aluminum shroud here. And this airplane originally spent a lot of time out in Arizona, which is good because it has basically no corrosion in the tank, and actually that protects it against the all the wing structure down here, and you see there's no corrosion there. Yeah, that's one of the autopilot motors there. Let's see, so there it is. There is the fuel cell, and the manufacture date is 1978, so this thing's original, and the leak, the tank looks good except for this part that broke off. That's where it was leaking, I guess. So we got the brand new ones over here. Like everything with airplanes, they're not cheap, and I ordered those a while ago because there's a pretty long lead time. So these have been sitting here, and we were just going to wait for the annual. But these are the brand new fuel tanks, one on each side. It's interesting they both went out. And here are my oil samples, which I send in to get analyzed for all sorts of weird stuff in them. And that, of course, not too much has changed back here. This is still the tail. This is still the little, rudder cable attach points there that is very critical. Obviously, it's amazing. Okay, I flew a lot of commercial airliners like 777 and that, and those things are really robust. It's amazing that little cable there is all I've got to control this thing. Yeah, well, it's the way civilian aircraft are, but it works. And here is that's my cover for it, and there's the other fuel tank. Now they haven't taken that apart to see the situation, but like I said, they spent a lot of time out at Arizona, so I expect it to be fairly clean. And it's in a aluminum shroud, which is really kind of cool, because that means that even if there is corrosion due to the fuel tank, I shouldn't have a problem with the interior structure, because it's got a double layer. And that must be my ELT battery there. That's really sophisticated. Okay, so no, that's not going to work. I'm not going to get back that way. Oh, there's a beacon. That's one of the old beacons that we used to have here at Lake in the Hill. So there it is, up on jacks. That tire doesn't look too bad. Hopefully it's good enough. And like I said, it's really kind of tight in here. got a lot of airplanes. And, whoops, yeah, okay, don't get hit with the broom. And that is the story of that. So day 2 of the annual, going well. They haven't had a chance, like I said, to look at the valves on both on number 3, interestingly enough, but it doesn't sound like, hopefully it's going to be too bad. Like I said, they're either going to tap it with a hammer to make sure it seats, see if it seats better, but the one does have a little burn, a little piece of carbon. The other one might have a piece of carbon under it, which is why it leaks. They'll find out. And then they'll probably lap in place the valve there. Back when we're doing the 404 testing for that accident at the Grand Canyon, the old mechanic who was in charge of the shop there, I watched him use the little dowel thing with the suction cup and do a growl binding right in place. Kind of interesting. He was complaining about new mechanics. I won't talk about that, but and this was back in the 70s. So anyway, that's the area here, all nice and put together, and the guys working on the airplane. So that's the update. Hey, thanks for watching.